USDA in the C-Elysée week's time. Lots and lots and lots. Green, the colour of Hungary. Lots of orange and black, which was the colours on the Zengo Motorsport Hondas, and the number 5 for Norbert Michelitz. They're here and there, tens of thousands to support Norby, and everybody else is a bit player. They appreciate them, they understand the sport, they get it here in Hungary, but actually everybody else is sort of getting in the way of Norby winning. Even Mehdi Banani, who won a dramatic opening race, a race that started damp, looked like it was going to dry out, and then got consistently wet from about the midpoint. Banani didn't put a foot wrong, nobody got close to him, nobody could catch him. His laps were quicker than the factory guys on fresh wets towards the end of the race, when his were burned out, but he did a great job. Starts this race in 9th place. Fredrik Ekblom in front of me in 8th position. He had a good, strong opening race as well, in the top 3 until he finally got eased out by Nicky Katzberg, finishing in 4th position. So he'll be smiling inside the car as well. The Volvo with very limited running in the rain. Nicky Katzberg as well. I think that might only have been his first touring car race in the rain. I'm not quite sure that we had a wet race last year that he was in. So he did a pretty impressive job as well, adding to his data banks. Ivan Muller, well, he's seen and done it all, hasn't he? You know, he's raced in England, so of course he's had lots of races.
Yeah, Muller needs a strong result here. He's down to 7th place in the championship now. He's which is unheard of for Muller, you know, to be aiming out the top 6. So he definitely needs a strong result, and he's unfortunately, with the grid layout as it is, he's starting with Lopez in front of him and the Hondas to get in his way, you know, and Katzberg. You know, there's a whole furore of guys, good guys in front of him, and in between him and Lopez. Ivan's
qualifying almost went completely pear-shaped. He only just, by the skin of his teeth, made it through into Q2. So he could have ended up in 13th on the grid for both races. As it is, the opening race, the first of our races, gave him the better opportunity, but he was on the wrong tyres. Now, as you say, starting in 8th place, and he's got guys who were in the top half dozen in front of him in race 1. So it's by no means a given that he's going to be able to move forward or move forward quickly.
Yeah, we're just seeing the stickers on the bonnet there and on the boot lid and everything. They're part of the part firme where they seal the car, so nothing can be opened, touched or anything. So, and that stays on for a set amount of time, and then they're allowed to, and they don't have to be on there now, but the mechanics have obviously just left them on.
Yeah.
For speed, because they're concentrating on other stuff, I guess.
Yeah, so you'll see on the doors, there you go, on by the number 18, Thiago's WTCC stickers. And if the stickers are broken, it means you've opened the car, you've opened the bonnet, which means that you're automatically sent to the back of the grid. Even if you haven't done anything, just breaking the seal is enough, because he could have done something. So that will automatically relegate you to the back of the grid. No such dramas for Thiago Monteiro or Rob Huff, who start on row 2 for this main race. But of course, the massive drama for their teammate, Norbert Michelitz, of all places.
You see these diagonal nets now we've got on each side of the driver. They're from the Alan Simonson, or as a result of the Alan Simonson Le Mans accident, where they sort of try and stop the 1 o'clock hit if the driver comes forward out of the winged seat. And it's an FIA, one of the safety things they're pushing through, and it's really coming through to all Formula. Well, actually, I think you'll see it in British touring cars in 2017 onwards. So they sort of pioneer things on the world stage, and then that bleeds down into the national formulas.
Well, look, anything that helps keep our drivers safe. Motor racing is getting quicker and quicker. Cars in all categories are quicker every season than they were the year before. And of course, that means the impacts are bigger, because the stationary stuff doesn't start moving any faster. Tom Coronel on the outside of the front row of the grid, or the inside line down to the first corner. Is that going to be a line that works, or is he going to end up skating out wide? And will Jose Maria Lopez be worrying about that? Because Lopez is on driver's left going down to the first corner. In dry conditions, you should be good, but in the rain, who knows where the grip is?
By his own admission, Lopez has got an all-automated start system with the Citroën. Tom, by his own admission, does it all manual, all by feel and touch. So that way, it can either go awfully wrong or it can go awfully well.
Well, let's see whether it's man or machine that gets the better getaway. Jose Maria Lopez will start as our DHL pole sitter. You can see how filthy the cars are after the first race. It has been unremittingly grey and miserable.
I mean, what was apparent in qualifying, Martin, was Coronel was ballistically fast through the front sector, faster than anybody by a country mile. Obviously, that doesn't translate into wet, but I mean, he's obviously got his car very, very pointy. Gets in there, gets out there, good front end on it, and if he can get in front of Lopez, he can have a chance to hold him back, you know.
If he can get in front of Lopez, he might get awarded a knighthood by the Honda drivers as they can attack the champion from behind. DHL pole sitter for our main race then is Jose Maria Lopez. Tom Coronel starts inside him, second on the grid. Rob Huff and Thiago Montero, the factory Castrol Hondas, third and fourth. Ted Björk in the Volvo ahead of Nicky Katzberg's Lada, which was on the podium in third in our opening race. Ivan Muller with work to do, and he's surrounded by Ladas and Volvos. Our opening race winner, Mehdi Benani, starts ninth, ahead of the man who was second in that race, Tom Chilton. Tarquini and Valente both in the top six for Lada in race one. Start on row 6 ahead of John Philippi, who despite a drive-through finished comfortably inside the top 10 in the opener, and Norbert Michelitz will be last away, and let's hope that there is no massive cloud of smoke out of his engine. Everything seemed all right on the formation laps. I think it was just the turbo had let go, and hopefully there'll be no collateral damage elsewhere in the engine. If it had been a ring that had gone and was letting through all that oil, then Norby would be back home watching it on the telly, I'm afraid. So it's just the turbocharger. So firing up the systems, Nicky Katzberg, now president of the campaign for plain English, as those of you who watch race one will know. And Norby craning his eyes to look forward to see where the lights are going. Lopez dabbing the brake or the clutch pedal there.
Hi everyone from the Hungary. Very special atmosphere every year. I just enjoy every moment. Unfortunately, I did not enjoy every moment so far because we had a turbo failure in the first race. So I have to start from the back of the grid. But if you start from the back of the grid, these are the circumstances you are looking for. So I still think that there is a good possibility to score points. This is my target for today, and I hope you will enjoy the show. See you.
Well, there is only one way to go, isn't there, Matt, when you're last on the grid? At least it's not down D-Elite with the handbrake on in 43rd position. Leader, our points leader, brings us to the line. Jose Maria Lopez, the reigning world champion, will start the main race here in Budapest from pole position. Jose Maria Lopez, Tom Coronel, front row of the grid here at a very wet Hungaroring. Absolutely soaking track, brand new tarmac. This is the first time cars have been on it this week, and nobody has raced on it before this weekend. It is a voyage into the unknown. Red lights are on, and away we go. Good start from Nicky Katzberg. Slow start from row 2 by Thiago Montero. Rob Huff is going to tuck in front of him. Lopez goes very wide. Ivan Muller very quick away. Ahead of Ted Björk. Muller is looking for third place, and behind him in the slipstream, Mehdi Benani has made a great getaway as well. Sitchin superb traction off the line. Lopez leads, Coronel inside Muller. Benani into the back of Muller, and off go. Whoa! Off goes Gregoire de Moustier, exceeding the Citroen's traction limits there, but Muller is through into third place. Coronel down to fifth, and here comes Benani. Benani won the opening race. Coronel's going off stage left. As soon as you go offline here, there is nothing in the dry. It looks like there is nothing there in the wet either. Matt Neal, what about those Citroen getaways? That's sensational starting.
Absolutely blinding start from Muller back in 7th place, and he was unlucky. He got shuffled out a little bit around the outside of turn 1. Otherwise, he would have been right there in Lopez's slipstream. But talk about confidence. Everyone's got their window wipers on. Oh!
little touch from Bernani in turn 5. Thiago goes spearing off, and Bernani may end up paying a penalty for that. Lopez, Huff and Muller, your top 3. Bernani, our opening race winner, now up to 4th position. And boy, his tail is up after a great opening race in wet conditions as well.
Yeah, I was saying, talk about confidence. Everyone's got their window wipers going full chat. Oh, Muller's looking.
Oh, and he's lost it. Muller bins it at turn 11 and just hangs on. Or is that 9? 9, I think.
Stay in front of Bernani.
It will. That was turn 9. So if he'd gone off that wide at 11, he would still be going off. Bernani right behind him. Well, we saw that in qualifying. Muller's car really, really tail happy out in sector 2. Those fast right-handers at 9 and 11 really didn't like the car in those corners at all.
I was about to say, Lopez being confident, not having his window wipers on at the start, obviously thinking he was going to get start, but Muller's window wipers aren't working or they're switched off, and he's back in 3rd or 4th place.
Yeah, 4th place.
So
Nicky Katzberg ahead of Tom Coronel and Tom Chilton. Chilton started outside the top 12 in both races, but finished 2nd in the opening race. And now that's Sebastian Loeb Racing with the Union flag on the roof. Yesterday, St. George's Day, but it looks like he might be able to slay another couple of dragons here today. He's got Tom Coronel in front of him, and Coronel comes across the line in 9th. Chilton looking to try and move down the inside. Everybody splashing into the first corner. Chilton's got the move on the inside. Can Coronel hold him off? Yes, but Chilton on a much tighter line. And look at the way the Citroen just holds that inside line. The Chevys can't.
you can hear the wheel spin in that Volvo as he's trying to get the power down.
And if anything, Matt, it is actually getting wetter. Coronel inside Chilton to retake 9th. And John Philippi behind them in the dark blue with lime green highlights, or day-glow green highlights. He had a blinding first race, but it looks as though it is too wet for him. Huff in 2nd, but really under pressure from Muller.
Yeah, Muller looks as though he's got more pace here, but he's just struggling. He's keeping a very tight line here, so...
Stewards will look at the Bernani and Montero incident and drive through for Bernani for causing a collision. Oh, in these conditions, that's a bit rough. Thiago only lost 1 spot. That's a bit rough, isn't it?
Well...
It's not like he put him into the furniture.
He won't do it again, will he?
Well...
Oh, well, it moves Michelitz up at another place, though, doesn't it?
Meanwhile, I was just checking on Norby. Norby is 14th from 17th on the grid. He's gone by Gregoire de Moustier's Citroën, Rennie Munich's Chevrolet and Ferenc Fischer's Honda. And he is trying to catch Ugo Valente and Frederick Ekblom in front of him. Huff still holding off Muller for 2nd. How long, though?
This is not good for Muller because Lopez is stretching his legs now.
Yeah. And Muller is stuck behind Huff. I'm not sure Muller's in touch. I mean, Bernani is all over Muller. This is like qualifying again. This is like race 1. Race 1 here, on the opening couple of laps, Muller's car was trying to throw him into the scenery. Bernani's in immediately for the drive-through. Good call. End of lap 2, and he will have 13 more laps to try and undo that.
Don't get done for speeding in the pit lane now.
Right. So Lopez leads by 3.4 seconds. Huff 2nd, Muller 3rd. Montero now 4th for Honda. Then Gabriele Tarquini 5th already, ahead of Ted Björk in 6th. And there is John Philippi ahead of Ugo Valente, and they are 11th and 12th.
Muller's Citroen looks good through the central part of the corner, but you get up to speed and that Honda really just starts, it doesn't look short on grunt now.
Yep.
It really does seem to stretch its legs.
And the officials have, by the way, decided that there is no case to be answered with the differing weights of the flat floors of the Hondas. And de Moustier's outbraked himself at the first corner again.
That's in hard.
He has gone a long way in, hasn't he? Yellow flag at turn 1. And a lot... Oh, that didn't stop. That was not slowing down at all.
That's a fairly...
That has the look of a pedal that went to the floor, and Huffy... Yeah. What happened to Huff? Huff's just almost stopped dead.
He slid wide, I think, Martin, on the way in.
Yeah. But then Muller goes straight by 3 or 4 car lengths. Safety car is out for the car off at the first corner.
Now, there wasn't a yellow flag when Muller went past, was there?
Nope. No. These yellow flags are only at turn 1, not even in sector 1.
Wow.
They're only at turn 1. So Muller up to second. So this will bring Lopez back into Muller's clutches. Game on. Good news. Grégoire de Moustier's out of the car. And that's the only thing that matters when you have a driver go off at speed like that. Cars can be fixed. Drivers tend to be a bit more frangible. Well, you pick it up late. He's fully locked up there, isn't he? I think, but we either misjudged that over the brow or his brake pedal was not really as efficient as it should have been.
Yeah, we're going back to the safety thing again, and all the WTCC drivers now, it's the same as Formula One, they're running G sensors in their earplugs. So they can actually, for a head jolt, which will be like that, they can, the series doctor can see what sort of load or G has been put into each driver in an accident, which is...
I have a lot of fog inside the car, a lot of fog.
A lot of fog outside the car as well, or spray at any rate. But what he means is, of course, the car is starting to mist up, because racing cars don't have heaters. What they do have is a lot of hot air inside as the driver gets very warm, and a lot of very cold air outside the windscreen.
I think de Moustier has won half the barriers onto the front of his car, isn't he? He's dragging it away with it.
Safety car picks up Jose Maria Lopez, Ivan Muller.
Ooch.
Yeah, that's a mess. Luckily, we don't have back-to-back races. Next one not for a couple of weeks. Lopez well away from the start. Look at Muller sear through, and look at Bernani as well. Bernani's car got hooked up at least as well as Muller's. Look, we're closing on him immediately. From the moment Bernani releases the levers, we're closing on Muller. And the answer to, and you hear the wheels spinning, the answer to whether Citroen's Electronics or Tom Coronel doing the job manually won the battle, actually, Coronel was right with it until traction out of the corner.
Oh, actually, Coronel got pushed into Muller.
No, who hit Coronel? Whose camera
Oh, that was someone
that?
getting into Michelitz.
Yeah.
That was Valente, was it?
Could have been. So there's an awful lot of penalties that haven't been applied, which makes Bernani's tag on Thiago even more.
It was ever such a gentle...
I know, and even more of a hard luck story. And we saw, don't forget, we saw Huffy lose a position there to Muller just by sliding off the track.
Yeah,
so
Martin, the door wasn't open though, was there?
No?
There wasn't a car.
No, but he didn't try and stick his nose in on the opening lap. So, okay, who knocked Coronel off?
Okay, well, why didn't he give the place back then?
He should have done. He should have done. Who knocked Coronel off? Because somebody did with the bumper camera. We didn't see a caption to see whose it was, but
it was the
my
Honda
money is
behind him, wasn't it?
Well, it could have been Huff, could have been Montero. And which of the larders knocked off Norby? And hello, stewards.
I think...
It's out there now. The audience have seen it.
Well, Tarquini's further up than Norby, so you'd have to say it was Valente, because they're in the same sort of proximity at the moment.
You can point out all the larders are further up than Norby because one of them shut him out of the way.
Yeah, Valenti's close to him though, isn't
Okay, well, let's hear from our TV truck. You played us the replay in the truck. Whose replay was it that hit Coronel, and whose replay was it that hit Valente? That hit Norby? You've got to tell us these things. So, some incidents get seen, and some incidents get punished, and some incidents get seen and don't get punished. So Tom Coronel will be wanting to know who clogged him in the first corner. Norby was hit by Ugo Valente.
It's the law of averages, Martin Valente. He's got to hit
He's gonna hit somebody.
someone in the weekend, doesn't he?
Oh, that's a little harsh. And whose onboard camera was it that ran into the back of Tom Coronel in the first corner, who also didn't pick up a penalty? Not sure.
Just a nonchalant little fact. We've obviously got Volvo safety cars here now, which is great. And there was a release announced the other day that Volvo company are going to... They've announced they're going to manufacture 1 million electric cars by 2020. So they're going big into the electric market. So.
And Volvo, you know, really one of the leaders in going downsizing with engines and going to small capacity 1.6, 1.4 turbos instead of, especially in the American market, their sort of big V8 engine cars. So they are, as you might expect from such an energy-conscious Scandinavian country, They are being very energy conscious indeed. Safety car remains out. We can add up to 2 laps to the race distance, so it is now going to be a 17-lapper. And this is Huffy skating out wide in 5. Ivan Muller going, ooh, thanks very much.
That'll do nicely.
Yep. So, the Honda clearly not the greatest car through turn 5. If I'm Banani's team manager, I'm feeling hard done by. Safety car will come in this lap, lights are off as he exits sector 2.
Banani's, at least he's been able to catch up to the back of the train. That's a positive, and he's had a great result so far today.
Yeah.
So I don't think he'll go home too disappointed at the moment.
Big hatful of points, but the drivers behind him in the championship, and that is now Huff and Katzberg and all the others, will overhaul him, because from where he is now 16th, getting any points is going to be tough.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. We go green now. Jose Maria Lopez and Ivan Muller, the factory Citroën drivers, lead the field to the line. Great restart by Lopez, not a good restart by Muller. Shocker from Thiago. What's he doing so far off the back of Rob Huff?
Tarquini's in his slipstream there. Tarquini looks as though he's on the hunt. Very much so, as continuing from race 1.
Yeah, and Gabrielli has got a Volvo behind as well. They all negotiate their way, they navigate their way perhaps.
Oh, Katzberg run deep.
Ooh, so gap there for Coronel and Chilton to come into, and yes there is, and Katzberg's a long way off but just comes back on in front and cleanly. But he lost a lot of ground because he was all over the back of Ted Björk's Volvo, and now he's barely in front of Coronel, Chilton. And look at Filippi down the inside of Hugo Valente to retake that position. That's 11th they're battling over.
Very gentle on the throttle through there, you can hear.
Yeah. Having to be V cautious. Turn 2, turn 3, over the brow at turn 4, and again, you know, you have to use a lot of curb there, but you don't really want to. Thiago Montero just ahead of Gabriele Tarquini. Tarquini's feeling the pressure from the Volvo, though, isn't he? The blue car is really pushing him.
Yeah, Bjork's running well, isn't he? That Volvo looks pretty well hooked up at the moment.
Raced here in Formula 3000 in 2001, 2, I can't remember. He was saying that he and Thomas Enger went for dope testing here after the race. He passed. Thomas Enger tested positive for marijuana, it later transpired, and had his Formula 3000 championship title taken away from him after the end of the season.
Now Huff staying with both the Citroëns this time.
Gabrielli's off, through goes Björk. Oh, but only just. Tarquini uses so much momentum in turn 11, he comes back on alongside the Volvo, and Björk trying to fight him, goes off wide, and there's contact, and Gabrielli, broken left rear suspension, is out of the race. And they've seen it on the pit wall. Gabrielli doesn't know yet, but they are sure on the radio saying, Gabrielli, the car's broken, don't try and race it back. Through goes Valente, inside John Filippi, and Lopez has got pressure from Muller from behind. But that's the way Lopez likes it, Muller behind. He'll withstand the pressure.
Yeah, come on, we want to see the older man get the gloves off, sleeves rolled up. Oh, almost ran at the back of it, just a bit deep there.
And here comes Huff. And suddenly, the gap is not between Muller and Huff, it's between Lopez and Muller. And Valente down the inside. Here comes Norby. Norby has carved his way through and now is battling for a point. This is the battle for... Oh, in fact, Norby's in 10th because Tarquini... Oh, no, Norby is in 11th still. Now this is for 10th on Valente. Through he goes. He's got good grip on the inside, hasn't he, in that Honda? It's 10th for Norby. You can probably hear the crowd in the background. You can see them there. And Michelitz is in the points from 17th on the grid. 10 laps to go.
Muller's back with Lopez. He's got it.
Yep. Muller's got the quicker car at the moment, hasn't he? Or is Pachito just biding his time?
No.
Okay, find a place to pass me, I dare you.
Pachito would want to stretch his legs and go if he could.
Valente right behind Michelitz now. Frederick Ekblom, the blue Volvo in front. He's Norby's next target. And if they'd been well prepared, the fans here would have little, you know, blue voodoo dolls to stick pins in. Lopez and Muller first and second, pulling away very fast. 2 minutes 14.6, 2 minutes 14.7 on the last lap. Nobody else.
Oh, Lopez going defensive.
Inside the 16s, Lopez much quicker on the second sector. 3/10 quicker on the second sector. He's now all over Lopez. Huff was in the 15s, everybody else in the 17s apart from Montero. Fastest lap in race 1 from these drivers on their slicks was a 2 minute 22 and a 2 minute 24 for Muller, and then they came down to 2 minute 12s on their wet weather tyres, but by that stage Bernardi had already set 2 minute 10s, so it is actually wetter than it was in race 1.
How loose Muller's car was earlier in the race might be paying him back now, Martin. If Lopez has gone for a well-balanced car earlier on the race, he will hurt his front tyres. And, you know, Muller's could be evening out now, settling down, so he's still got that front traction he needs.
Michelet's in front of the Volvo. Ekblom's gone backwards another one. Norby's up to 9th, and we're looking back now, and here comes Valente. Cruz is up the inside. The Volvo, whatever changes they've made race 1 to race 2 haven't worked. And behind Bernardi from his drive-through, attacking Filippi for 12th. Bernardi's going to end up in the points. A double point scoring weekend for him unless something goes awry, because I don't see Ekblom holding him off, and I'm not sure Filippi's going to either. In fact, I'm not sure that Frederick Ekblom's going to hold off John Filippi.
Oh, Filippi.
Whoa! Doesn't need to. That's a gimme. Free pass, and Valente runs out wide, and Ekblom straight up the middle like a knife through butter in that gap. It is raining harder, isn't it? It is getting more and more vile.
They only need to get slightly offline, and those painted curbs are absolutely treacherous.
Yeah. Well, Filippi was going all the way there, wasn't he? He was never in control of that. From the moment he started to turn on the brakes, that car was away from him. Lopez and Muller, the gap stationary, about 3 car lengths. Muller has backed off a little bit. Huff can't get close, so Muller can basically just take 3 runs and 3 pot shots at his teammate in front to try and take the lead, because he's not feeling the pressure from Muller. But Ekblom, Valente and Bernardi, Norby's gone by them. Norby's next target, by the way, is Tom Coronel, who started the main race here in 2nd position on the grid.
Tom seems very good through these hairpins. Just able to really close up and hold a tighter line.
Katzberg and Chilton, Lada drifts out wide. The Citroen has got grip on the inside, hasn't it? Now he goes outside, cuts back to the inside in the final turn. Katzberg had to go in a little flat and defensive. And Chilton could well be inside him down into the first turn, but Katzberg off the corner quickly. Muller showed his nose at Lopez, there's no change there. Lopez still leads from Muller, and the fastest lap of the race for Huff. Action everywhere you look here. Here comes the run from Bernardi on Frederick Ekblom, and just in front, Chilton goes by Katzberg. Little bumping and boring, there'll be some plain English in that Lada, and through goes Coronel. The Lada's speed is going away here.
Coronel being the opportunity.
Oh, and Katzberg rather can't hold the line. Well, is this now about setup? Is this about tyre pressures and so on, coming in and coming to the drivers?
It could be any one of a number of things, but can be the tyres going over pressure. It could be anything you've done. But you know, some will have set the car up, you know, for the first half of the race. Others, the brave ones, who are having to hang on to it, set it up for the latter half, and that's where it's starting to come back to these guys now.
And now, probably the softer you set your car up, the more you allowed for wet weather conditions, the better, because it is actually wetter and wetter. On board with Norby. Target acquired, locked on. Nicky Katzberg is next up for 8th.
Katzberg's there for the taking, isn't he?
Yes, he is, isn't he? Well, after only 1 Honda finished in the top 10 in our opening race, we've got Huff 3rd, Montero 4th. We've got Norby. This is wife watching on, barely watching on. That's the sort of Doctor Who from behind the couch, isn't it, watching on?
Yeah, you can throw a blanket over these lead 3 as well, couldn't you? Oh, Lopez going very wide there.
Huff's not out of it. Valente and Ekblom. This is Norby. Katzberg's in the way, and Norby just picks aside and goes through. Oh, and suddenly it's Lopez with Muller almost alongside him, and Huff is right in the mix.
This is Muller's best opportunity for an outbreak.
Come on, Ivan, let's see something spectacular. Ivan's a long way behind in the points.
Go on, Ivan.
He can't afford to keep finishing behind Pichetto. And Huff is right in it suddenly. The balance of power is changing, and Huff, really tight line into turn one. He's got a tiny overlap on Muller. That'll undo itself in turn two, but he is piling the pressure on, and that's good news for Lopez, and a tiny touch. You dare penalise that in the steward's room. You cannot, you have to let them race. They touched each other, but Huff goes through. You know, you're a professional touring car driver. Was that a clean move?
That was a clean move, but Muller will be fuming inside that car at the moment. He had the opportunity on Lopez. You know, he could have very easily been in the lead on turn one. Decided to sit tight, and then he got mugged by Huffy.
Well, he moved out to try and ease Huff away from the line, and that's where the contact came. What's Ivan saying? In the same way that I'm not going to translate into foreign languages any of Nicky Katzberg's radio transmissions, if you understood the French, you don't need me to translate, and if you didn't, I'm certainly not going to. Ivan was being, again, fairly plainly spoken there.
He's not a happy Frenchman.
He's not a happy man, and despite the fact that he moved over to the right onto Huff, he is complaining that Huff has hit him.
I'll tell you what, Huffy could win this.
Huffy could also take a big hit from behind.
He could take a big hit. I mean, Muller will have a go if he can get close to it.
Yes, because he can't let Lopez get away and score 25 points without giving everything he can. Muller is a long way behind already. This is only the third race weekend.
If these three finish on the podium together, it's going to be glorious watching the body language.
It's going to be absolute silence is what it's going to be. Where's Norby?
Oh, Norby's losing.
Oh, no, Norby, keep your foot in.
Good save.
First rule of front-wheel drive race cars, Matt, isn't it?
Right.
Keep your foot in.
He's made some air, he's okay.
He has. Well, Huffy was the fastest man in the race last time round. Valente through Ekblom. This is the battle for 11th. 2 minutes 12.4 for Lopez. Now he's got the hammer down.
Right, he's trying to make some air now. He's not watching backwards.
Well, you know, also, he thinks exactly what you think. Hang on a minute, where's Huff come from? Right, time to escape. I can hold Muller up because I know what his car will do. I don't know what Huffy can do. So Lopez goes away from Huff by half a second. Huff came across the line 9 tenths behind, Muller 8 tenths behind him, then Montero 4th, Björk 5th, then Chilton and Coronel, then Michelitz, and then Katzberg and Benani, and then this battle for 11th, Valente and Ekblom. Ferenc Fischer is in 13th, René Mullet 14th, John Philippi 15th, and Tarquini off with broken suspension. Gregoire de Moustier off with what looked as though it might have been a very soft brake pedal, and 2 excursions at the first turn, the second of which was a very heavy impact with the tyre barriers.
Now, I'm surprised Muller's been dropping back because he was definitely the man on the charge before that sort of little bit of a fracas.
Well, his last lap, 1.5 seconds slower than Lopez, 1.5.
Yeah, but that was the overtake, Martin.
Yeah, but Huff wasn't. Huff was only half a second slower.
Yeah, because he was doing the overtaking.
Benani now all over the back of Nicky Katzberg for 9th. So Benani, despite a drive-through penalty, harsh, has made it through into the points. Our opening race winner, up to 3rd in the championship, don't forget.
Yeah, Katzberg must feel like the duck in the shooting gallery at the minute. They're all having to pop at him.
And he's the right colour as well. Yeah, Katzberg had a really strong race one. Got onto the outright podium with Benani. So these are 2 of your podium finishers from the opening race.
He's almost going around the outside of it.
They're going to investigate the Huff and Muller incident. I fear that this will not be a good conclusion. If they penalise Benani for that tiny touch of Montero, Huff fastest of all in the final sector on the last lap, and in fact he's taken 4 tenths out of the leader. Huff has now closed the lead to within half a second. Benani gets a good run on Katzberg for 9th, But look at the gap at the bottom of your screen. 0.49 back, Rob Huff. Muller nowhere, he's 1.2 behind Huffy. Thiago Monteiro really nowhere, 9 seconds back as Bernani and Katzberg dice under braking.
Yeah, Bernani's through. Let's take a look at the leaders. We want to see the leaders.
Yeah, Garage, Schmarage. Oh. Really? And we've seen replays of Coronel getting knocked off and Michelit's knocked off on the first lap and no even investigations. And now there's a drive-through for Huff for a racing incident where the man in front moved over on him. Watch Muller. Does he go straight down the hill? No, he moves to driver's right, knowing there's a car there. Got a multiple touring car champion alongside me. Is that rubbish or is that fair?
I don't know. I mean, if you were in Muller's camp, you'd feel pretty aggrieved about it, but Huffy was...
Well, Huff needs to learn to swear in French then, clearly.
Yeah. It's a shame because that was revving up for a great finish. Huffy was looking like he was going to put Lopez under a lot of pressure, and the Honda was working well.
I'm sorry, that's a rubbish penalty. We've had 2 clear hits on other drivers that knocked them out of good positions. Nothing which has been done about.
Sacre bleu.
So Lopez continues to canter away. Muller will inherit second place. Job done. Well done, Citroen. 1-2. Rob Huff is all over the back of Lopez. And the stewards have managed to kibosh the race. It was a racing incident. Muller moved over on Huff. There was contact. Muller lost out as a result because his car was destabilised. Huff didn't change his line.
Oh, well, Huffy could still get third here, you reckon? Well, Honda will still get on the podium.
Yeah.
But, that's a shame, that isn't. Huffy's still well up the road from...
No, Montero and Björk come across the line, so Huff will come out behind Chilton and Coronel, and probably behind Norby, actually, because they're all covered by about a second.
Got to be close.
So Björk looking down the inside for third place. So Björk could be on the podium. Björk is going to be on the podium. Unless Thiago, well no, if Thiago moves across on him, that's fine, because Björk will get penalised.
Thiago should have the inside for 2.
He's got the inside line. You see, that's how you defend down the hill into 2. You don't move across and hit the car that's got an overlap on you. Michelit's around the outside, Coronel on the inside. Coronel trying to defend 6th, and Norby's got him. That means Chilton is up to 5th. Or where's Huff? No, timing and scoring hasn't reflected where Huffy has come back out. So there is Norby, and he is in front of Coronel. They were 7th and 8th across the line. I think that makes them 6th and 7th, and Björk up to 3rd. And then Montero back in front of him. So this is not the battle for 3rd, of course. It is the battle for 3rd.
Nice.
And then there is Norby behind, so Huffy has come out behind all of that group. So we've got Lopez and Muller running away for the factory Citroen team. Muller, the fastest man on the track at the moment. Thiago Monteiro trying to seal 3rd place here in the main race in the Hungaroring, ahead of the blue Volvo, Tjad Björk. Tjad Björk got alongside him down into turn 2. Now seems to have dropped some way back. Fastest man last time round was Ivan Muller, who's in 2nd place and trying to close up on Jose Maria Lopez once more and rejoin battle that was interrupted by Rob Huff getting in front of him. Huff has then since been penalised for Muller hitting him. So that makes Thiago Monteiro in the other Castrol Honda now 3rd. Tjad Björk in 4th position. Tom Chilton will come across the line in 5th. Norbert Michelitz from 17th is up to 6th. And 1.2 seconds quicker than Chilton last time round.
Ooh.
And despite that off,
Muller is trying hard, isn't he?
yeah, Muller trying hard. Last time round, Lopez became the first driver to go into the 2-minute 11s. As he pulled out 2 tenths on Ivan.
Yeah, that cost Muller in the final section, that did. He lost a couple of tenths, so...
Yeah. Fastest first sector from Nicky Katzberg's, fastest second sector of the race from Nicky Katzberg's Lada in 10th. Fastest third sector last time round by Rob Huff in 9th. So Chilton 5th, Michelitz 6th, Coronel in 7th.
I think they're just dishing out penalties to anybody to try and get Michelitz further up the order.
Well, in which case, why didn't they penalise Muller? Because that would have had the same effect.
They could have penalised everybody, shouldn't they?
Well, they should have penalised whoever hit Coronel.
Penalised Lopez for leading.
That's not going to happen, is it? They didn't penalise him for getting in the way of somebody in Q3 last week, so they're hardly going to penalise him for leading the race. When he deliberately is dawdling around and blocks somebody on a one-shot lap.
Well, let's see if Muller can get close and make a fight of this now.
I think Muller might have shot his bolt, actually.
I don't know, I reckon he's got a little bit of a...
Well, Paciso was 4/10 quicker in the first sector.
Nicky Katzberg,
and another
drive
4/10 quicker in the second sector. Oh, is that for what, being
track
the same
limits.
postcode as
Track limits. They've got that wrong though, because he's behind Michelitz.
Oh, and a big, big moment for Chilton, and here comes Norby.
Could he get in the top 5?
Purple middle sector. Yeah, I cut the chicane.
Okay, so he cut the chicane, not when he went off very wide in turn 2. To say, drive-through penalty for not gaining a position and running out of grip on a very wet racetrack seems little.
It's a bit severe, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. Are they going to give Chilton a drive-through penalty for exceeding the angle of attack?
Well, Lopez has just posted the fastest lap of the race again, so he looks as though he's got this well under control. He's got 2 seconds in hand and 2 laps ready to go. So
yeah, just opened up 6/10 on Ivan on that lap alone. Thiago Monteiro in 3rd, Ted Björk in 4th, and Tom Chilton trying to hang on to 5th ahead of Norbert Michelitz. Chilton, don't forget, 2nd in the opening race, behind Mehdi Banani and ahead of Nicky Katzberg. Katzberg will come in for his drive-through. Norby fighting the wheel. Doesn't look to be on straight anymore, does it? So he got clattered by somebody, and that clearly has deranged the steering. Maybe just a thump on the curbs has. Banani with Huff behind him. And Huff will be as livid as a livid thing. Fastest first sector of anyone in sector 1. Here comes Huffy. Can't touch a Citroen, Rob, you know that. Oh, mind you, Banani's had a penalty for touching a Honda, so it's sort of 6 of one, half dozen the other as well. Huffy within a cigarette paper of the tyre stack there through the chicane. Lopez, another blinding lap last time round, and a really quick second sector from Ivan, but it's not going to be enough, surely. This is lap 15 of 17, there's 2 to go. He's bringing down the lead of Jose Maria Lopez.
But not enough, Martin.
Ooh, I don't know.
Seemed to be enough.
Let's see if there's something dramatic on the last lap, and here comes Norby. Can't take the place by going off the track on the inside, even if it was to avoid a slow Citroen. And Chilton is in all sorts of trouble. The car is stepping out on the corners, and Matt, when the car goes that sideways, it basically almost stops it dead because the driven wheels are barely driving it.
Almost like Norby gets a fifth, another gear, a 7th.
Oh, look at that. I mean, Chilton was doing, what, 15 kilometres an hour less off the corner than he might have been. Norby did well not to hit him there, actually.
Pardon?
Well, he didn't hit him in that corner.
He'll get, but no, he can't get a drive through.
But Tom's car is struggling so much. He must be getting so much wheel spin as well.
If Norby got a drive through, the stewards would never get out the circuit, would they?
They wouldn't deserve to, I'm afraid. They made some shocking howlers already. We don't have a referees panel for FIA stewards, but we might need one. Lopez fastest first sector again, but Ivan has just set the fastest lap of the race. 2 minutes 10.8 to 2 minutes 11.5. He took 7/10 out of Lopez. With 2 to go, the gap down to 1.4 at the line. Lopez responds 4/10 quicker in sector 1. We're watching Michelitz trying to catch Chilton before Chilton goes off, because Chilton's car is trying to throw him into the scenery every time he changes pedals.
Is that Chilton in front, or has he got past him?
Well, there is the lead gap, and that is more than 1.4 seconds, isn't it? Lopez is really kicking in now. 2 laps, he's going for home.
You can see the attitude of the car. They're both properly hanging it out.
Lopez has heard the bell, hasn't he? He's really going. Not sure his wipers are working very well. Look how slowly they come down the
sector
straight.
2 as well for Lopez.
Yeah, this is a blinding lap from Lopez. Who's third? Montero there somewhere. And fourth, Ted Björk, the Volvo still. And fifth, still Chilton. Still Chilton in fifth ahead of Norbert. Then Coronel, Huff and Banani. This is behind 7th, 8th and 9th.
Huff's got through Banani.
Yep, 2 drivers who've had drive-through penalties, which were tenuous in the extreme. Valente in 10th place, Katzberg 11th. The Volvo, the Ladas rather, do not have any pace in this race. Looking back from Huffy. Trying to find some grip somewhere by really changing the line around through the final corner. And it is the last lap for Lopez, kicking for home now. 2 minutes 10.77 last time round, Ivan. 2 minutes 10.83. Lopez started the lap exactly 2 seconds in front. What's Norby got? Well, what he's got is 70,000 people going, come on, Norby. So should we make that 70,001? Tom had a good race one.
You know,
Norby needs a good race
if
too.
he does manage to finish 6th, that'll be a monumental round here. I mean, Hungary is notorious for very difficult to overtake. So
that'll be like Gabrielli starting from the pit lane and coming through to a top 6 finish
and look
in
at his
the opening
car.
race.
It's absolutely mint.
Yeah.
You know, to get through clean.
So behind him, Coronel still in front of Huff, but Huffy is closing in. Tom just set his own fastest lap of the race at 2:12.6, but Huffy 2:12.2. Oh, Norby's car breaking away from him. Big moment, and he's off. Come on, Norby. Really, come on, Norby. Gets back on, but here comes Coronel. And that was Norby's attempt to try and stay with Chilton's wayward car. And now, look, his car is all over the road. Something's broken. Yes, left rear. Left rear is broken. And that's the chicane, and it's all gone.
Can he limp back?
He can limp back, but he will be being passed by everybody, and that was Coronel trying to get around him. And Norby probably thought he got a wheel on the white line, and that's why it went sideways, and now he knows that's not why it went sideways. Lopez is going to win this by a country mile. Victory, his third in a row, his third main race win of the season for Jose Maria Lopez.
Good job. Whoa. Really hard.
Ivan Muller in 2nd place. Tiago Montero takes 3rd position. He is on the podium. Ted Björk in 4th position. That's the 2nd, 4th place for Volvo today. 5th for Tom Chilton after 2nd in race 1. 6th for Rob Huff. 7th for Tom Coronel. 8th for Mehdi Banani. 9th place for Ugo Valente. 10th place for Norby. He gets a point with 3 wheels on his wagon from last on the grid. Matt, we said it, wherever he is in this race, at this track, there is drama. Last lap, broken suspension. Can you, Adam and Eve?
How did that break? I mean, when he got hit earlier on, it was on the right-hand side, wasn't it? Not the left.
But we didn't see where else he got hit.
Yeah, true.
So, Norby, you really do know how to write a script. Amazing finish.